Good morning. I'm Leonard Hamlin, Canon Missioner of the Washington National Cathedral, and it is my pleasure and privilege to be able to meet you on this Tuesday, March 19th. Certainly on behalf of our Dean as well as all of my colleagues, I'd like to welcome you to this moment of prayer and devotion as we've been walking through these days of Lent. So won't you join me in a word of prayer? Almighty and everlasting God, once again, it is with great joy, great humbleness, that we come together in this moment. We are thankful for your holding us, for your keeping us. And we ask now your blessings upon us, that you would unite us, and that we would be your witnesses in just such a time like this. So on this beautiful day that you have provided, this gift of the present, we ask now that you would hold us. In your wonderful name, we pray. Amen. Our gospel reading comes to us this morning out of the Gospel of Luke, the second chapter, the 41st through the 52nd verses. And in Luke's gospel, we hear these words. Now every year, his, being Jesus, his parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up as usual for the festival. When the festival was ended, they started to return. The boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but his parents were unaware of this. Assuming that he was in the group of travelers, they went a day's journey. Then they started to look for him among their relatives and their friends. When they did not find him, they returned to Jerusalem to search for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished, and his mother said to him, "Child, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously looking for you." He said to them, "Why were you searching for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" But they did not understand what he said to them. Then he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was obedient to them. And his mother treasured all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom, in years, and in divine and human favor. Amen. Certainly after reading this familiar text for many, what we come to know is that the essential nature of Christian ministry has been determined for all time by the ministry of Jesus Christ. In Luke's gospel, we're given an opportunity to glimpse moments in the life of Jesus that, as I often remind us, challenge our thoughts, transform our lives, but they also shape our ministries. At a very early age, Mary and Joseph had journeyed to Jerusalem, as was their custom. They traveled up and traveled to the festival of the Passover, year after year. And this time, they had taken Jesus once again on the journey. Perhaps like us, they had become accustomed to a certain routine. They had shaped their expectations around the habits that they had adjusted their lives around. And just like them, we adjust our lives to the habits that we continue to carry out day after day and year after year. There was a certain time in their habits and in their customs where they arrived, and there was a certain time to leave. There were certainly certain habits that they perhaps carried out while they were there. Their movements may have been influenced by the crowds around them, And there must have been a certain level of comfort and security in traveling with familiar faces and just being in the number. Here, this was the routine that happened year after year, and even in that, perhaps day after day. But this was the year that their routine was disrupted. Their expectations were challenged, and their plans had to shift. One act and one decision by Jesus changed everything. Instead of leaving with the crowd, Jesus stayed a little bit longer at the temple to sit among the teachers, to listen and ask them questions. In the language of certain translations, here was Jesus who, when his parents confronted him, simply said to them, "I must be about my Father's business." Throughout this season of Lent, we have been given the opportunity to alter our routines, to make some changes, and to do it so that we too can be about our Father's business. It will not just have an effect upon us individually, but it will affect our families, our community, our societies, and the world. Jesus made a commitment that was seen through his actions. Our lives, our ministries should be shaped by the life of Jesus. And they should also recognize that commitment is an act. It's not just a word. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German theologian and pastor, is quoted as saying, "One act of obedience is better than 100 sermons." Many of us have listened to at least 100 sermons, but where we failed is perhaps the one act of obedience. Amen. I invite you to join me in the word of prayer that Jesus prayed with his disciples, and that throughout this Lenten season, we may be not just reciting words, but acting in obedience. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. We're on our way to Calvary, on our way as we walk through these days of Lent. And now may the Lord bless you. May the Lord protect you. May the Lord smile on you. May the Lord be gracious unto you, and may the Lord show you his favor. And may the Lord give you peace.